Hello, 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 hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're watching from. This is episode 10. Can you believe it? Again, thank you for tuning into episode 10 of my weekly Step Out, Step In podcast. And every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be hosting this live Step Out, Step In podcast on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Now, to those of you who have subscribed to my YouTube page, I say thank you. If you haven't yet subscribed, please, 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 please do so. And don't forget to click on the notification bell so that anytime I post something, you'll be notified. Follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And you can also support me by clicking on the link, Buy Me a Coffee. You know, it is. I love coffee, and you can support this podcast or this page by just buy me a $5 coffee. Yeah, so let's do that. And again, my name is David Joe. I'm a pastor, a person of faith. I'm an author, a father to my wonderful biological and spiritual children, and I'm your friend. And I want you to also check out the other episodes on my YouTube page. If you look at the link, it's linked in right there. You can follow the link as well. And this is episode 10. Also, you can find me on Buzzsprout. It's a podcasting site. So the podcast Step Out, Step In is on there as well. And in episode 10, I'll be talking about your thought pattern. Your thought pattern. You know, the dictionary defines your thought as a habit of thinking in a particular way using particular assumptions. It is also defined as the way a person thinks about things. It is said that the average person has about 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day. 50 to 70,000 thoughts a day, which equates to about 35 to 48 thoughts per minute. You know, approximately 95% of our thoughts, your thoughts, my thoughts today, are the same thoughts as we had yesterday. And to make the matters worse, about 80% of those thoughts, or those habitual thoughts, are kind of negative ones. You know, tens and tens of thousands of negative thoughts cycle through your mind day after day, poisoning your attitude and your outlook one by one. The other time I was telling somebody that I can still remember some of the things that were said to me, the negative things that were said to me as a child. But I still can remember all the compliments I received as a child, you know. And it is said that 80% of tens of thousands of little thoughts add up to a lot of negative thinking, and self-talk. You know, the reason why most people the reason why most people are ineffective in life and have actually failed in a life and doesn't enjoy life is because they have never learned to fight the battle of the mind or your thoughts. You know, the power of your thoughts or your mind has a tremendous ability to shape your life for good or for bad. If you accept the fact that as a grown up and somebody said to you, what somebody said to you don't matter, that you don't matter, you are good for nothing, you are worthless, you are ugly, or you are a garbage can. And if you accept the fact that whether they are right or wrong, it has the ability to shape your life. It doesn't matter what you have been through. It doesn't have to be true. If you believed it, it's going to shape your life. You know, a lot of people or a lot of people have heard things that were said to them as kids that were not true. Years later, most probably in their adult life, they are still battling or still acting on that false information. But I want us to get to the place where we will transform our lives by the way we think. You know, your thought pattern controls your life, or it has the ability to control your life. You know, God is far more interested in changing our minds and changing our thought pattern rather than changing your circumstances. If majority of you thought if the majority of your thoughts are positive, then you feel and be more positive. But if majority of your thoughts are negative, your self-talk is negative, your outcome is not that pretty. Think about it. The mind is a battlefield, whether we like it or not. It can be a stronghold. Now, most of life battles are won or lost. Or let me say it this way. Most of life battles are won or lost in the mind or in your thoughts or your thought pattern. What you think is what you become. If you think you can't do something, you'll never be able to do it because you don't have what it takes. That is your thought. If you think you cannot, probably you won't. If you think you can, probably you will. Now, Henry Ford said, and I quote, whether you think you can or you can't, or you think you can't, you're right. End of quote. Now, this quote emphasizes how much your thought pattern determines your success or failure in life. You see, it is your thought pattern that drives your feelings and your happiness, not your circumstances. If your thoughts are negative, your feelings and actions will be negative as well. Altogether, those things can lead to a negative life, lacking peace and joy. For example, if you spend the entire day, if you spend your entire day fuming over your spouse's flaws and thinking about how he or she does not meet your needs, you feel animosity towards them, towards him or her. At minimum, a lack of love, which leads to outward negative behavior. That might damage your relationship. If you spend time thinking about how your boss or your supervisor doesn't appreciate you and constantly telling yourself how underpaid you are, you will feel discontent at your job, which can lead to a bad attitude, poor performance, which can lead to you being unemployed. You know, and if you spend time thinking about what other people think about you, You will feel like you don't measure up and live a life with lack of confidence, and you forget who you are and whose you are. If you constantly think about your past mistakes rather than accepting God's forgiveness and mercy, you will feel unforgivable, you will feel unlovable, you will feel a life and you feel like your life is disconnected from the love and acceptance God wants you to embrace. If you let the critical words of a parent, a family member, a teacher, or a friend that was said to you way back when you were a child, the rejection or the hateful actions of a spouse or your ex, or the judgment of a friend or loved ones dwell in your thoughts and define how you think about yourself, you will feel like a worthless individual, incapable of living a life with a purpose. You see, your thought pattern turns into feelings that can easily take control of your life and steer you in a direction you don't want to go. You know, your feelings are persistent and unrelenting, constantly whispering to gain dominion over your actions. They can alter your destiny, either good or bad, because whatever you do or whatever you are dwelling on in your mind is what will play out in your life. You know, we spend time thinking about what others are thinking about us, and it has the ability to affect us. You know, if you listen to all those negative self-talk, which is not from God, you might end up sinking in an ocean of discouragement, an ocean of hopelessness, and feeling that you can never swim your way out of the peaceful waters. Your feelings are persistent and unrelenting. I said it earlier on. Let me repeat that. Your feelings are persistent and unrelenting, constantly whispering to gain dominion over your actions. You can alter your destiny, either good or bad, because whatever you're dwelling on in your mind is what plays out in your life. As a person of faith, let me say this, and let me quote a few scriptures. In Proverbs 23 and verse 7, the first part of it, and from the New King James Version, it says that, for as he thinks in his heart, so is he. And when we look at the New International Version of Proverbs 4:23, it says that, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. you know, the Proverbs 23 and 7 was talking about, for as he thinks, for as a man thinks, other version says that as a man thinks, so is in his heart, so is he. And in the Proverbs 4 is telling us, guard your heart, because everything you do flows from your heart. The Bible also says that out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever is within your heart is what comes out. The ICB version of Proverbs 4:23 says that be very careful about what you think. It says be very careful about what you think. Your thoughts run your life. Your thoughts run your life. That is so amazing. My Mahatma Gandhi said a quote one time, and he said, "A man is but the product of his thoughts. What he thinks, he becomes." And this reminds me of a story of two close friends um, who had a breakup from their girlfriends just around the same time. You know, both of them suffered this devastating, um, heartbreaking moment, and one decided that he could no longer bear the pain, the loss, the disgrace from the breakup, and all the investment he had made in that relationship. He said he couldn't bear them anymore. So what he did, he decided that he was going to end it all. So he committed suicide. That is so sad. The other friend also thought of the pain, the disappointment, the hurts, the frustration, the anger, the resentment from the breakup, and decided to write a song from his experience. Now, when he wrote this, the lyrics of the song, a music production company came across the lyrics, and they bought the lyrics for almost $1 million. Two people with almost the same situation. One thought he could not bear the pain, he could not bear the disgrace and all that, and ended his life. The other thought he could change his situation by renewing his mind, and he became a millionaire from the painful and hurtful situation. You know, it is usually your thoughts, not your circumstances, that causes you to sink. There's a quote which says that watch your thoughts, they become your words. Watch your words, they become your actions. Watch your actions, they become your habits. Watch your habits, they become your character. Watch your character, it becomes your destiny. This is not an exaggeration, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think I'm alone in this belief. Your life follows the direction of your thought patterns or your thought process. You know, we only have a few days to the end of the year. And I want to encourage you, step out and step in to change your life by changing your thought pattern. One of my most favorite scriptures in the Bible that I love, or one of my favorites, is Romans 12 and verse 2. From the ICB, it says that do not be shaped by the world. It says, do not be shaped by the world. Instead, be changed within by a new way of thinking. Then you'll be able to decide what God wants for you. And you will be able to know what is good and pleasing to God and what is perfect. You know. So, with this said, let's step out and step in to renew your thoughts pattern. With this said, let's step out and step in to replace the thinking with good, pure, noble thoughts. Let's rewire our thought patterns. Get to a place and position where you will rewire your thought patterns. Reframe your mind and rejoice in your life. You know, this is such an important truth to tuck into your thought pattern. You mark it down. What you think becomes who you are. Remember, and you know, ever since I started this podcast, I want to always end with this, that remember that the world needs your unique gift, talents, and abilities. There's so much loaded on the inside of you. Don't leave this world with them still unwrapped inside you. The late Dr. Miles Monroe once said that the richest place in the world is not the gold fields of South Africa or the oil fields in the Middle East, but it is in the cemetery. This is a place where people with ideas, people with inventions, people with businesses, people with creativity, and people with songs that were supposed to be produced and sung, people with businesses that were supposed to be started, people with ideas that should have invented something, went down the grave without letting it out. So the world needs you. The world needs your unique gifts, your unique talents and abilities. Don't leave this world with all these gifts still unwrapped inside you. You know, I wrote the book Step Out, Step In, and copyright here. And that was during the 2020, during the pandemic season. I wrote it, self-published it. It's a small book. You can read it in just a couple of hours. And the backdrop of this book was to, I talked about Peter and the other disciples who were in the boat, and they hit a storm. They saw Jesus walking on the sea. But one thing Peter did differently from all the other disciples was he stepped out of the comfort zone. You know, being in a comfort zone is a very secure place. What I'm doing is out of my comfort zone. And I realized that if I wrote a book on it, I have to step out of my comfort zone. You know, I'm the shy type and I always want to be behind the scenes, but you can't always be behind the scenes. Sometimes in order to overcome your fears is to face them. And I'm doing this, breaking out of my comfort zone. It's not going to be perfect. I'm not looking for it to be perfect, to be all right. Yes, I'll make the mistakes all right. But you grow from making mistakes and learning from it. And you get better each and every single day, every time as you do it. So again, thank you for watching my Step Out, Step In podcast. Please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and LinkedIn. And don't forget to support my podcast by clicking on that link and buy me a coffee. Watch the space, and I'll be back in a moment. All right, so again, thank you for tuning in. Just before I sign off, let me do this real quick. For a copy of the book, you can go to Amazon. It's listed on Amazon.com just for $5.99. You can get a copy, and if you buy the copy, you can get one for a friend, a loved one, or a frenemy. You never know what that is going to do. It can change the life of that person. So let's go to Amazon.com for a copy. And I also want to specially invite you to our Sunday services. We meet every Sunday at 2 p.m. The address is 1449 Courthouse Road, Stafford, Virginia 22554. And if you're looking for a family-oriented Bible-believing church, you're welcome. You know, I would like to personally invite you to worship with us. In fact, this Saturday, which is New Year's Eve, we'll be meeting from 9:30. We want to be in the house of God where we cross over into the coming year, the amazing year that God has for us. So if you're available, if you're within the Stafford, Fredericksburg, Quantico, Dumfries area, I'd like to personally invite you to join us in worship this Friday, this Saturday. But every Sunday at 2 p.m., we meet you. For more information, you can visit us on the web, www.allnationsva.org. allnationsva.org. All right. So again, thank you so much for tuning in. I want you to do one more favor. If you can share the link, if you can share it with a friend, a colleague, family member, anyone, please share, and don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. We're doing this. No, this is technology. Sometimes you just we just leave it that way. All right, so please don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Facebook. Let's share. Let's comment. And don't forget to buy me that coffee to support this page. And until we meet again, have a wonderful, amazing, fruitful, and productive week. And let me also take this opportunity to wish you a happy and a prosperous new year. I know that the year ahead is going to be amazing. Let's step out and let's step in to the new year. Until we meet again, I love you. There's nothing you can do. Goodbye.